So Max, at this point, it's almost like just another title fight, right?
Yeah, it's not even another title fight. It's just another fight. Like I said, when I first came in here, yeah, I wanted to be a UFC champ. I did that. Now I want to be the number one pound for pound fighter in the world. The belts don't mean nothing. I just want the hardest fight, and I want whatever fight that's going to take me to the number one pound for pound. Dustin's on the plate first. I'm number 4 in the rankings. There's 3 guys in front of me, and we can figure it out after this.
Yeah, I've heard you say that the belts mean nothing. It's about the toughest fights. When was that mental switch for you, or has that always been the philosophy?
I always wanted a tougher fight, and then but first coming to the UFC, I wanted to be a UFC champion, and after that, and being the UFC champion, I understand that it's got to be the toughest fights, I don't want to be that guy where you see some of these guys coming up in other organizations or this organization or even in boxing. They start fighting, not so tough guys, and then when they get there to the championship level, they're in for a rude awakening, So I'm glad I took the steps I took to get here today.
Well, I was going to say, if you look at your resume, it's like you fought all the tough guys on the way up, and now you're having to fight them again to rematch them. So you got, your McGregors, your Poiriers, and stuff like that. It's like you've gone through the ringer. Does that give you confidence almost? You're like, oh, I've done this already.
Yeah, I've been here before too much times. Like you said, all the tough guys that I fought, they stood the tough guys. They stood there. They're not going nowhere. The top 5 is most of them is the same top 5s that when I was number 15. So it's cool. And it's just fun. I'm having the time of my life right now, and I just can't wait.
The weight thing, I'm trying not to ask you about how different is it fighting 150, but why would you go back to 145? Because I've seen your cardio at 145. It's pretty insane. I can only imagine how much better it's going to be without the weight cut. Why would you go back? Because with respect to that division, with the exception of maybe Frankie, you've basically fought everyone, and Volkanovski on his way up as well. But why would you go back?
Like I said before, a king defends his throne. And when the king leave his village, people come in and they try swarm, and I ain't trying to do that, Like I told people, if it was a 45 contract fight, I would have been sitting up here defending my 45 title, The contract they sent over was the 55 title, fight, interim title fight, and that's why we're here, UFC, Dana White. There's guys like how you said, there's Frankie, but then there's guys like Alex. They talk about Zabit, who else? Renato, and UFC and Dana White. I think so. They just want them to bake. They put them in the oven a little bit longer, letting them bake, and let them come back. Most of them only got like maybe one win in the top 10 or top 5, if that. And I think so. They just wanted them bake a little longer.
And focusing on 55, again, like we said, you fought a lot of 45. Going to 55 opens all these doors to big fights. Say McGregor, you got Ferguson, Khabib. I mean, that must excite you because the 55-pound division's the big one, right?
Yeah, 55 excites me for sure. There's a lot of the guys that's considered a pound-for-pound fighters in the world. A bunch of them is in 55, and I feel great, and I feel like I fit in here. And this is where you got to do, if this is where I got to be the number one pound-for-pound fighter, let's go. If I got to go up a weight class, 2, 3, 4, 5, keep saying, my man Danos, DC, if he's the number one guy, if they send his name in a contract, I'll be like, I love you, DC, but I'm going to sign that contract.
You're going to have to eat a lot of cupcakes to get up there, Max.
Oh, that's easy work. Cupcakes is too easy for me. I'm Hawaiian Samoan. I love palasamis. There's this thing called laulaus. Oh my gosh, the boy, you wouldn't even. Did you guys not see my post, my off-season post? To on the year, and then that wasn't Mark Hunt. Everybody think it's Mark Hunt. that was literally me. I had to lose weight to get back down.
Fair enough. And switching to this fight, I think when anyone analyses you versus Poirier, I think the word volume sort of comes to mind. I mean, your performance against Ortega was just punch after punch after punch. Poirier's a volume guy too. I almost expect you guys to sort of meet in the middle and just swing for 25 minutes. Is that how you see it going, or are you going to try and work different angles, different routes?
Yeah, we see what happens. At the end of the day, if you want to be the number one pound-for-pound fighter to me in the world, should represent dominance, and that's what I want to go. The last fight, everybody kept saying this is a fight of the year, blah blah, this and that, and I want to prove people wrong. I want to go out there, after the fight, however long it is, you guys all scratching your head and like, what, or who, or where is this kid from? That's what I want to do. Dominance is key here.
And the last one for me, is it almost extra tough for you to go into a fight because you kind of have to wait for Mini Bless to say this is the round to finish it?
Yeah, I guess we're on Mini Bless time, like I said.
You're stealing your thunder at the open workouts. You're just the second in command now.
I am, like I said, though, if it's anybody's shadow that I'm going to live in, it's going to be Mini Bless one. But the boy's like yay tall, so the shadow not too big. It's kind of covering my legs. At least my head is stood and my upper half is stood out of it. But he stood there. You know, he's an amazing kid, and whatever he wants to do, you know. He heard when we was up there, he heard Dave and Buster close at 2 o'clock in the morning, so he was like, you know, it's time to get it done, Dad. We gotta go play some games.